Africa changes you forever like nowhere on earth. Once you've been there, you will never be the same. Tangiri National Park, the greatest concentration of wildlife outside the Serengeti. Large herds of elephants, 260 bird species, and one of our favorite photos of a leopard leaving his sleeping brother behind in a tree. After an afternoon stroll and a meeting with the boys, we were given lessons in tribal dances by our Maasai warrior friends. The next day's game drive included a ride on the Ngorongoro Highlands, the rim of which is over 8,000 feet high. This is the world's largest unbroken caldera and a legendary safari destination in Africa. The crater is a biosphere reserve, often called the Garden of Eden, for its wide range and ever-present abundance of wildlife attracted by the year-round water supply on the crater floor. Once at the base of the crater, we were struck by how many species we saw, from flamingos along the water to the wildebeests grazing across vast stretches of land, to unique sights such as this dust devil, a lone lion, and a very upset hippo munching on a wildebeest. Birds of all varieties abound, but most fascinating to us were the African weaver birds.
People going, this is where we're gonna buy a ticket to go through Serengeti, okay? This is Serengeti, and then we're gonna be, this is our lodge, okay?
Each day at dawn over the Serengeti Plains, a fortunate few enjoy the ultimate safari experience. As the sun rises over the horizon, our balloon adventure begins.
Speed and direction. We can command altitude, we can go up or go down whenever we want, but direction and speed is given by the wind. Choosing different altitudes, we can change sometimes a little bit. And here on the south hemisphere, if we climb, we go more to the left. Another thing is, if we climb, we get more wind speed. That's why we use altitude only to change direction. Otherwise, we'll keep more low flight, more definition.
So far so good? You still enjoying?
Yes.
Me too, Don Tomagos.
Eventually we land and are congratulated by our captains and the ground crew, and we celebrate in a traditional manner with champagne.
So the king had a wonderful idea. Versailles is on the west side of Paris. On the east side of Paris is the Champagne region. If you could afford champagne, you were probably a nobleman, right? And you were definitely French, right? So the king made all the pilots bring champagne on the flights with them. They wrapped them in straw and burlap, and when they landed, you know, they'd hold them up like a passport, like, don't kill me, I'm French. So we carried on that tradition. It's a really good way to turn a bad situation with a farmer you don't know into a party, right?
We have a service team here, and we'll be taking care of you to make sure that you enjoy breakfast and the day as well. This is Juma.
Jambu.
Bravo!
Michael.
After navigating around Ngorongoro Crater Rim, we descend into the Olduvai Gorge, one of the most important prehistoric archaeological sites on Earth. It is here in the 1950s that Louis and Mary Leakey first uncovered the fossilized teeth and skull of one of our earliest ancestors. At the end of the day, the Serena Safari Lodge brought a welcome respite and a little entertainment. On the Serengeti, you see it all. We saw the result of the opportune moment. A group of lionesses made a kill on a Cape buffalo, continuing the never-ending circle of life. Here, over 12 lionesses, lions, hyenas, vultures, everyone feeds this afternoon until the bones are bare. Then just around the corner, we witnessed a lion cub waiting for its mother, having a little fun in the afternoon sun. We were blessed to have two very experienced guides from Orbridge help us and become our friends through our 1,640-kilometer safari journey, Babinga and Severine.
He's got out the bridge. They're going across the bridge. Just like you said.
Our last stop, Balaguetti, brought a most unique location. Tented chalets along the rim of a valley that in weeks would be teeming with wildlife on their annual migration. From the brilliant sunrise through the day of safari, all we could say when we arrived back to this beautiful view was, "I'll have a double." The next day brought with it the true meaning of the variety of wildlife in Africa. From a kaleidoscope of giraffes, a male waterbuck bolting away from our safari vehicle, to the king of the jungle guarding his mate, to the most sure-footed and smallest of their companions on the Serengeti. Our final safari day took us up to the southernmost part of Lake Victoria, Busega, Tanzania. A wonderful ride passing children walking to school, vendors on the way to sell their wares, and finally we see the water. And the fishermen tending their nets and fixing their boats. We met the wonderful children of the small fishing village in Busega. Strolled through the town, exploring the shops. And caught an impromptu soccer match as we approached the school. Zariki School, teaching students from 4 to 14 years of age. Headmaster Justin told us of the origins of the school as we sat with the students, and they brought a little sunshine into our lives. Then it was back to Balaguetti as school let out. On the way, we witnessed a troop of baboons performing highway robbery on a local merchant. A quick stop at the Tanzanian version of Starbucks, and we were on our way through a beautiful sunset to a surprise safari dinner under the stars surrounded by campfires. Our departure morning began with the usual gorgeous view, followed by a quick trip passing a mother ostrich and her chicks, and our first sighting of porcupines on the run across the Serengeti. The first leg of our flight home was from Serenera to Arusha, squeezed into our bush plane flown by our nice young pilot. It was a perfect way to say goodbye to the awesome beauty that is Africa. A place where it seems time began. After a smooth landing, we jumped right back into the craziness of a small airport and a crowded city before catching our final flights home. And so we say goodbye to the dazzles of zebras, cackles of hyenas, sounders of warthogs, parades of elephants, troops of monkeys, rafts of hippos, kaleidoscopes of giraffes, and prides of lions. Nothing but breathing the air of Africa and actually walking through it can communicate the indescribable sensations we felt.